Good morning and welcome to Sunday Morning Coffee with Caryn. Hi, everyone. Hello, hello. Welcome to Sunday Morning Coffee with Caryn, episode 74. Oh my goodness. We're just creeping closer and closer to that 100 mark. And I'm already thinking about what amazing something I'm going to do for the 100th episode. So, welcome. We are here. We made it. So, this week's episode is going to be all about loving yourself. The whole theme for February is actually all on love and the different types of love we experience. Sorry, I'm having a moment with my laptop there. Hello, everyone. Say hi, Instagram, hi on Facebook. I love to know who's all watching. So, the whole month of February, we're going to be talking about love in different ways than you've probably heard about it before, mostly concentrating on. Chase, I love you. Mostly concentrating on this idea of authority. Sorry, we're going to start today by talking about authority. And then as we talk about authority today, the next week I'm going to actually have a special guest. 2 weeks in a row, we have special guests. The first week, next week, we're going to have a special guest, Dylan Michael. He is my new business partner. You're going to be seeing a whole lot of him more as we get ready to launch Superconscious Leaders Incorporated. Going to be hearing a lot more about that in the next coming weeks. He's going to be on next week. We're going to be talking about twin flame journey and exactly like what is a twin flame. And in 2 weeks from now, I have another special guest, Christina. Her name, I never remember. She's probably on right now, to be honest. She's here every week. We're going to be talking a little bit deeper about dragons and how they play into the twin flame story as well. And then after that, we're going to really wrap that into a really nice, beautiful alchemical marriage. We're going to do a group dragon invocation. So I know you guys are not used to me already telling you in advance what we're going to do, but the theme of love in February already comes up, and I wanted to come at it from a very dragon perspective, okay? It's the Schumann resonance chase. Okay, so if you guys, let's just talk about this for a second. Mostly because I was up almost all night long um, myself just now. So, like, it's only 15 in the morning. But so the Schumann resonance, guys, is the heartbeat of the planet. Okay, a Dutch scientist back in the 1900s was able to prove that our planet actually emits a electromagnetic field, and the guy's last name was Schumann. Therefore, it's called the Schumann resonance. So for those of us who are very sensitive, not sensitive. Okay, so empaths. We're gonna just jump right in here. Empathy is something that gets looked on in the spiritual community as almost like a curse, right? Like, oh, I can't go into a certain room because I'm an empath, right? I used to blame the fact that I got converted to Mormonism in my early or my late teens because I didn't know I was an empath and I was feeling the Holy Spirit through everyone else and wasn't able to discern for myself. Okay. Empathy is actually a superpower. Empathy is the ability to see someone in this whatever state they're in emotions, and to be able to recall within your own life a time where you felt that same emotion, and to be able to know the pain and the heartache that occurs without having to go in there, right? So Brene Brown, one of the world's leading shame researchers, she talks about empathy in this way. It's a beautiful analogy that I love. Empathy is walking up and seeing a hole in the ground and realizing there's a ladder down into the hole, and your friend being down in the hole, stuck and upset that they're stuck in a hole. Whatever reason, they're angry, they're sad, they're frustrated, whatever reason. And empathy is the ability to sit at the top of the hole and talk to your friend and be there for your friend and let your friend climb themselves out of the ladder because you're there holding space and being a support system to them, not coming down into the hole with them. Okay, you never want to be climbing down, and a lot of empaths end up really climbing down into the hole and letting, and then being worse, and they find like a trap door in the hole and they go even further. They spend the whole day depressed, they can't go out in public, they end up getting agoraphobia, all this stuff, when it's really your ability to experience emotions or energy in motion. Because we dragons, we don't really care what the emotion is. It could be raging hot like anger, or it could be deep, deep sadness, or it could be ecstatic bliss. All of them are energy in motion, and it's time to you start looking at just the energy. Okay, I know this is a little tangent, but Schumann resonance, this is the reason why I even created my course, the Accelerated Ascension Bootcamp, that you can go onto my website. It's the first little thing that pops up and it gives you like $33 off. It's it's for this reason, because the more of us that are doing the work to be able to hold more light in our body and to be more in our crystalline DNA than in our carbon-based DNA, we are actually being affected by the Schumann resonance. It's this very paradoxical situation where as you become more aware that you are vibration in the world and that you are God, that you are here as a fragment of the divine manifested in form, creating your own frequency, you actually have to be very aware of the other frequencies that are going around. Not because you're a victim to it, but because you have to learn how to manipulate your own energy field to not be affected by it, which is what we're going to be jumping into. So it does actually very nicely tie in. But for those of you like Chase down in Australia, 4 a.m., she's still awake, or like me, who was up all night with horrible gastrointestinal issues. I watched The Shining last night, and I think that it literally scared the shit out of me, is what happened. I'd never seen it before. I still haven't seen more than like a third or two. I don't even know. I literally closed my eyes and went to bed. I couldn't anymore. It was so scary. Um, and yet I have all this content about the patriarchy this morning. So, it is what it is. So Schumann resonance, if you guys see those posts, just really start being aware of them. Not because, again, solar flares, anything where the energy on the planet changes, you just really truly want to be always in authority and taking responsibility for your own energy field. So having the knowledge and the awareness, honestly, I forgot all about the Schumann resonance until Dylan told me about it this morning after I told him that I had been sick all night long. And he's like, well, the Schumann resonance was off the charts for the last couple of days. So even me, I forget to be in conversation with that because I'm in a very like just me or in the middle of a launch. Like I'm not taking in a lot of content right now. But because of that, I didn't have any idea that there'd been a whole bunch of electromagnetic weather going on. So it's the little mini tangent on the Schumann resonance. So make sure that you're checking on that. As you continue again to be aware of your own vibration, you should be also making sure you know how the vibration of other things is affecting you, right? So like people get freaked out about 5G. I've never been afraid of it, but I also like immediately as soon as people started talking about it, pretty much like downloaded the operating system if you would, that says nope, I'm not going to be affected by that. So this is a perfect jump off. So, okay, let's see. That's amazing. 20 years of family history for a law case. That's just nuts. Okay, so, and I'm sure a lot comes up whenever we do anything. I do writing just to like get into writing mode. I'll just start writing parts of my life. Sorry, for those of you on Instagram, Chase made a comment. I've actually been up writing a 20-year history report of my life since 18 years of age, finally for a family law case. So yeah, I dug up a lot, and it's so nice to put it all to bed with you. Thank you, Chase. I love you. Uh, so when you have that all digging up, that's another thing we're really going to be talking about. I love when you're on point. So let's take a second. Now that we had a little education about the Schumann resonance, everyone's here to light our candle, to set the intention of pure light, unconditional love and compassion, Karuna compassion from Kuan Yin. We're calling in Kuan Yin's pink dragon, and the rose dragon. Sorry, I see you both into this space. Kuan Yin's pink dragon allows us to cut all karmic cords with unconditional love, really incinerates them and sends them back into the ether as pure, just little pockets of magic. And the rose pink dragon allows us to open up to our higher heart. The Pleiadian blue dragon is also here. So all of the dragons that really help us with our heart chakras are coming into the space right now to amplify the message, mostly because dragon love can sometimes sound like really cold, harsh reality. So having that extra heart chakra support, all of the chakras being lit up, ready to receive higher love uh, healing today, stepping into knowing your truth and speaking that truth like it's your art, like it's a masterpiece, because we are all masterpieces. So welcoming the dragons that are here to guide us, support us as we speak about loving on ourselves, and really love in this space of willing to die for what you believe, honestly, and being able to have such impeccable standards and morals and knowledge that you know what you'd be willing to die for. So we're going to just light the incense as well. This is actually a yellow rose incense, so willpower too. If you guys missed the Superconscious Leaders ritual, it was inside the Superconscious Leaders Facebook group, but it's also on YouTube, on the replay on the YouTube channel. And it was really powerful. We did a lot about the solar plexus healing. So this is just moving that healing from the solar plexus up to the heart with the rose. Rose has the highest frequency. So if you were to put a frequency detector next to a rose, it emits the highest number of any living plant material. The next one after that is actually lavender. And a rose actually emits, I think it's 432, which is a healing heart. If Dylan was here, he would tell you all the things. There's a reason why we have him around now. He helps my brain to know those sorts of things. Higher heart, it's all of the chakras emit their own sound, like which letter, and 432 is one of the resonances that the D, I want to say it's D, is the heart chakra. C, C, D, E. Oh, F is the heart chakra. 432, rose. Okay, we got it out. Okay, so taking responsibility and authority as your way of loving. What I mean by this is when you can love every aspect of yourself, okay? Loving, having the courage, right? The core of who you are is your ability to love yourself. But as we have incarnated here on this planet with the duality that we have. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out the best way to. I have so many new people, and I sometimes feel like I need to like give you a backstory, but no, we're just gonna dive in. You guys are ready for it. So core, courage. So core, heart in French, meaning the core of who you are. Your heart has 4 chambers. It's 3 dimensional. It has this very physical purpose. You don't live without your heart. As we move to the emotional layer, then we have ways that people can break our heart, or they can strengthen our heart. We can strengthen our own heart. And then as we move into the mental layer, though, we kind of get detached a little bit from our heart. We don't understand it. There's the heart and the brain connection. We know that the heart actually does a whole lot for how we connect to the outside world. And it's one of the most talked about chakras of, you know, of any of them, because everyone's trying to heal their heart. I need to heal my heart. I need to heal my heart. I need to heal my heart. When we look at the word heart instead as core, we need to heal our core, is what we're actually saying. And I know that I just switched from English to French, but as you'll learn with dragons, it's all the same. It's all frequency. And the word core here in America and in the Western societies, a lot of people don't have core values. Okay. And those who do have core values are often seen as fanatics and often seen as people who don't, they're rebellious, they're troublemakers. And a lot of troublemakers actually do a lot of good once the rest of the population understands their core value system. Last week we talked about the courage to change. So we're actually just like moving forward with that, right? Courage. Do you have the core? Do you have the ability? Do you have the courage, the willpower to work with your core to change, or at very least define your core value system? That is what loving yourself really, the first thing. I know that I said I would give you three things, but it's really a one thing and then like two ways of how to actually do that. You must have to be able to withstand what we're going to go through, guys. I'm a metaphysical mastermind, strategist genius over here, who's also a super conscious leadership mentor. I have been able to see all of the different timelines we're dealing with when it comes to shifting this consciousness from a fear based, scarcity based, lack based, patriarchy, gaslighting, trauma based society to the rise of the feminine consciousness of softness and love and compassion and wrath. Okay, this is the part that a lot of new age people, empaths we were talking about earlier, don't like. The most revolutionary act you can commit is resourcing your own divinity, which is what I teach you, how to use your super conscious resources. Resourcing that own divinity of yours is going to take a level of wrath. It's going to take a level of being pissed the fuck off that things are broken so that you take the time to go fix it. But you have to take the time first to create your own value system within your heart. What are you willing to go into battle and die for? Because we're in the middle of a revolution. It doesn't look like it doesn't seem like it because there's not, I mean, some places there are, but within the spiritual metaphysical community, we're not out there toting guns, but we are dealing with, World War III's on the mental plane every single day. You have to be so clear on your metaphysics, your mental state, keeping your consciousness clear, right? Keeping your conscious clear, making sure that you're cleaning up any energy, making sure that you're always in alignment with what it is that you desire, that you're not focusing on your lack. You don't focus on what you don't have, you just focus on what you do have and what it is that you're creating. This is a 24/7 job, right? This is energetic Olympian status. I'm not here to mess around with those of you who would be classified as woo-woo wannabes because you show up every now and then, but you don't actually live what you preach. I teach you to live what you preach. That's what I do. But again, there's a reason why every dragon came in here to help you with the love vibe so that you know that what I'm saying is that tough mother dragon loving. And I say this to you because that's what every single one of my clients, myself personally, my husband, my business partner, everyone has to deal with is a daily moment to moment practice of being in alignment with the highest good of not only yourself, but all beings. Because once you realize that we are all the same, the highest good for you is actually the highest good for all beings, and you stop feeling bad about only really ever thinking about yourself. Okay? Whew. So, loving yourself first is also a really important thing about that is that we have been taught in this world that self-love and self-care is like massages and selfies and that sort of thing, and nice dinners out and spending money on ourselves, or a nap, which a nap is definitely self-care. Yay, heart is resonating. uh is a It's so much more than that. It's being able to go look in the mirror and be like, oh my God, I'm not searching for anyone out there. Who is here, right here in the mirror, is who I've been looking for. And being able to spend time in the mirror and love every single aspect of who you are. So, this is where that taking authority comes into place. Can you look in the mirror? And I'm going to be teaching a mirror mantra masterclass in February as well. We're just ironing out the specifics right now. I'm going to be teaching that probably near the end of the month. Really, how it is that I've been able to accelerate the ascension process that I've been on by going from not really understanding anything about metaphysics to becoming one of the world leaders in modern day metaphysics and how to bridge the ancient and the future technologies in 3 years. And it's because I didn't just look at the love and light side, and I also didn't just look at my shadows. I was willing to play in both fields and stretch the capacity for who I am and what I am and how I serve in all directions by really making sure that my whole life is aligned with this core value system that I have. And my core value system isn't even very complicated. It's peace, love, unity, and respect for all beings on this planet, to free them from the illusion that there's any suffering and lack, to have every man, woman, child, and even animal have access to clean food and clean water and healthy food, to be in a safe environment for them, to allow for education to happen, right? For every human to have access to education, to learn how to read and to write. How much more could we be creating if the 2/3 of our planet who lives in the poverty line, who, and another of those 2/3, I think 2/3 of them are illiterate. We don't think about that in America or in other countries because everyone we know knows how to read and write. But when you actually look at the whole planet, having the ability to read and write is a huge privilege. So why are we so obsessed with the lack and the scarcity and the fear? We have to look through it. We have to look at every part of ourselves. We have to do what Chase is doing. She's going through family history report. I've done that. You can talk to your family about things that have happened. Now, sometimes your family doesn't want to tell you, and that's where having the super conscious resources of channeling and astral projection and telepathy are really useful, because you can then actually have a conversation with their highest self, and their human filter can't get in the way, and you know that you're actually getting the whole true real story. But sometimes getting the whole true real story of something is devastating, right? And it completely rips apart who you thought that you were, and you have to be willing to go back through and look at it. Who am I? I am a fractal of God. Okay, but what does that mean? It means that I am omniscient, omnipotent, and omnipresent, which means that I have 100% authority for every single thing that's happened in my life. I take 100% responsibility for every problem as well as every solution. Okay? When my husband and I get into an argument, it's not 50-50. It's not whose fault is it. It's I take 100% responsibility for the fact that we got in an argument. He takes 100% responsibility. I take responsibility for finding a solution. He takes responsibility for finding a solution. We come together and we're able to then move forward, right? That's not how it was for the first 13, 14 years. This is literally something that's only been happening since really November, when Dylan came into my life, and you guys probably figured out by now, Dylan's my twin flame. So having to figure out how to navigate all of this, it's a journey that very few souls actually choose to be on, because it's just another layer of complication. But the only way that you end up actually meeting your true, real twin flame, or your true soul's full, complete self, we're going to be talking a lot more about this next week, so I'm not going to dive in, is because you love yourself as whole and complete and perfect right now, and then you have a mirror come and meet you in the real world. It's a beautiful, amazing thing that you can do, because two heads are better than one, two dragons are stronger than one, this sort of idea. But it adds another layer of complexity to exactly how the dynamic, especially when breaking apart dynamics such as systemic abuse and control based in anger, fear, and rage, or anger, fear, and scarcity, which is my definition of the patriarchy. Okay. It's a journey, guys. And it's not that you're always healing, it's that you're always uncovering another layer of how you can manipulate your energy, because you know that you have the authority to do so. That you're always writing your own story. So the reason why I say that eventually you can get off your healing journey is because once you can take responsibility for anything that's ever happened in your life, your triggers that come up no longer cause like this pain, but it's almost like an amusement. It's like this little pocket of energy just like popped up to be like, hey, just so you know, you forgot about me. You forgot that I have this energy, this emotion that you still had inside of me, known as a trigger, and you can just let me go. Like, you don't have to find the limiting belief, you don't have to find the block, you don't have to find any of that. You just can release the energy. So when you're in the healing phase of it, you're looking at each one of these triggers and you're like, okay, trigger, what are you? Where did you come from? What's the story behind you? How do I really feel about you? And you're having to really dissect each trigger It's really fucking monotonous and tedious, to be honest, but it's so worth it because you start noticing patterns in your triggers. So then it becomes easier when one just kind of pops up. You're like, oh, whatever. Like, yes, that's just a thing. I know that that's something that happened. It's something that I did. It's something that occurred. And I'm just having to release the energy from it so I can go create something new. Now, this is the actual work. You're always hearing people talk about like I'm doing the work. I'm doing the work. Well, what fucking work are you doing and how much are you getting paid? The work is the ability to go into each layer of who you are and love on you. Okay? The parts of you that are a narcissistic, arrogant, abusive, angry, selfish, fear, terrified, asshole gets to be loved on just as much as the healing, high vibe, beautiful, caring, charismatic, abundant goddess of you. Okay? They both exist within you, and until you're willing to love on both halves, you're never going to reach the next level where you can say, you know what, let's go co create with another God. Let's go co create with multiple other gods. Because all you're doing is being stuck in your own. You're never willing to love yourself as whole as and complete. You are the yin and the yang. You are the whole thing. You are the tree of life, as above, so below. You absolutely have to come into this ability of knowing this if you're going to step up as the superconscious leader that I know that you are, or you wouldn't be watching this channel. I code everything that I create very specifically so that I attract those who are willing to do what it takes to love on themselves and to find their core value system. A few years ago, I would have told you that this ideal is like a nice one, but my core value system, I didn't even have one. And if I did, it was one that was prescribed to me by others, right? I was totally just not even the same person, right? I was convinced that the man was out to get me. The whole system was rigged. Everything is just fucked. That I was prescribed to be a stay at home housewife that was never going to have her own money, that was just going to kind of do massages here and there. I wasn't I didn't think I was attractive at all. I had all this extra weight that I hid behind in my glasses, I hid behind my intelligence. Um, my whole demeanor was woe is me, this is what happened to me, I have fibromyalgia, I have degenerative arthritis, I have all this debt because my baby was born on the day that the housing market crashed in 2008. I was abused as a child, I was picked on as a little kid, I grew too fast, so I have all these joint problems. Literally, I had so many excuses that were facts of my life, right? But I was using the facts of my life as excuses instead of using those facts of my life as the energy necessary to fuel me to move forward to change. Because I didn't have the courage to change, because I didn't have any core values that I was chasing. You're welcome, Chase. I love you. There's such a deep universal meaning that I'm hearing you at this very moment. Thank you. You're so welcome, my love. I'm just gonna check Instagram really quick, guys. It's like propped up back there. Hi, beautiful flowers on the inside. Hi, baby. I know it's so complicated with the two of them. Having the courage to change who you are means that you have to be willing to look at who you currently are. That's the terrifying part. That's the looking at yourself in the mirror and being like, wow, I am a lazy mom, right? Or wow, I'm a, let's see, maybe not lazy mom, but no, I am. I'm a fucking super lazy mom. I'm very aware of this part of me. I am not built to be a housewife. That's something that I was able to see. I was raised in Utah, which is a very family oriented state, and everyone that I know is a mom. And they're moms, they're great moms. They're not just moms, they're like super moms. And every single one of their kids have like the best birthday parties, and they're wearing the nicest clothes that they probably sewed themselves, and they are constantly going out and doing all these fun activities, and they homeschool and have this awesome curriculum, and they have a different package, and they're like creating these amazing just all the things. Okay, like best, like Martha Stewart on crack cocaine. That's the average mother here in Utah for any of you guys who live outside of Utah. It's just average. Every house is perfectly kept, decorated gorgeously. Everybody in the family looks like they just walked out of a J.C. Penney magazine cover. Like it's ridiculously like in your face all the time. So I conformed to that for a long time. And then as I started my spiritual journey, guess what happened? I stopped doing those things. It's not that we don't celebrate birthdays, but we don't need to have a big party every year where I'm spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars, totally stressed out, don't even know the people that are coming for like a 3 hour party that my kid's barely going to remember. Um, because I was obsessed with the status and how did I look and do I look right and all these things. But that meant, again, you have to go in, what do I value? At the time, what I valued was people pleasing. At the time, what I valued was other people acknowledging my existence. At the time, what I valued was making sure that everyone liked me. At the time, what I valued was fitting in. Right, I was always trying to fit in anywhere, including like contorting my body. And I know you guys can't ever tell because I'm sitting in all my lives, but I'm 6 feet tall. So I would contort my body and like pop my hip out and put my leg out and then move my body to the other side so that I could like snake myself down to be about 5'8", right? So I would literally take out 4 to 5 inches of my height just by popping my body in a certain way and then also still holding it like model pose so that I never looked like I was too big when we were standing in a circle. Yeah, I wore clothes in a specific way so I could do this, all that, because I just wanted to fit in with all of the other people. I didn't love myself when I was trying to fit in. I was trying to fit in. The definition of fitting in means that you don't feel like you actually belong. But that's because belonging truly to yourself, loving yourself in this society makes you look like a narcissist. Okay? Especially women. If women start talking about ourselves and we start talking about how amazing we are and how awesome our lives are and how we get to have the best sex with a man who just absolutely adores to give us oral pleasure, or how we get to have children who are super fucking smart and care about the world, or how we can have best friends who are changing the planet, or how we ourselves are just the most amazing, badass person on the whole planet. They know exactly what we're doing. We know exactly how to move forward. We get told we're narcissists, literally, or so that she's such an arrogant bitch, right? That is something that you have to just be okay with being called when you're a strong and powerful woman this juncture. So let's just get that out of the fucking way right now. You're not going to get liked as you love yourself. That's the whole fucking point. The reason why people like you so much is because you don't love yourself. Because you're willing to fit in. Because you're willing to conform and contort to the version of you that makes them comfortable. But that's because you're so afraid of the version of you that makes them uncomfortable, because that version of you is a powerful metaphysical badass that is here to change the fucking planet. So why would you do that? It's a journey to be able to own that. It's a journey to know that you walk into a room and you trigger people just because of how bright and shiny you are. They're going to, the brighter the light, the darker the shadows. So other people who haven't ever done any sort of inner work at all, never even gone to therapy, but they've got all sorts of trauma and triggers in their lives, they're going to see you shiny, bright, loving on every single part of who you are and who you be, and you are going to trigger the fuck out of them, and they might say something and they might defame you and they might try to rip your name through the press, or they might try to fuck you over. They might try to, yes, you have to become unfuckwithable. Thank you, Chase. Yes, you become unfuckwithable because you know that you are so solid and I know who I am. I am a fractal of God. I am a fractal of the divine. I'm a fractal of the all powerful, all knowing, all present I am. That is who I am. I know what I am as that fractal of the divine manifested here in form, creating a beautiful frequency of love and light. And I know how I serve. I sing my own song, meaning I resonate at my own frequency, meaning I am fully and completely in love with myself. And because I'm so in love with myself, the divine will immediately give me mirrors to show me how much I love myself as a support system, showing up as a support system for me. And this is where, especially women, we get scared. Am I really valuable enough to be supported? My visions are actually worth this happening. Tons of people support men in their visions because there's like this belief that they're going to get stuff done. But when you're walking around and you're willing to put your name next to Joan of Arc's, there's a whole different level there. Knowing that you're born to do something despite the fact that you could die for it, there's not very many women that you can really see that for. It's happening more and more, right? Even like Ruth Bader Ginsburg, may she rest in peace. She was one of my huge idols and heroes. I'm not a very liberal person, but I loved her. Still love her. She's an amazing. I entourage with her all the time in the astral plane. She's got a lot of knowledge on the laws, that one. She was willing to die for her values. She had death threats constantly. But when you're still afraid of dying, that's a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother life. When you're still afraid of dying, it's the same thing. You haven't loved yourself enough to know that this is just a part, right? There's a famous quote that says, sound is just an interruption of silence, and life is just an interruption of death. I don't know who said it. I think that I heard this from, I want to say Alan Watts. My husband's been reading a lot of Alan Watts and Zen Buddhist books recently, so I pick up on them. But if you think about that in the eternity of it all, this lifetime, especially those of you who believe in karma, which I know most of you do, in past lives, because you're always coming to me like, please, can the dragon invocations help me clear my past life karma? Yes, it will. Kuan Yin's pink dragon, though, is right now telling me, like, everyone who's watching this live and on the replay, your karma is actually being cleaned up right now as we're speaking. So all of those cords are being cut. It's all being incinerated in these beautiful little fireworks. And oh, now the rose pink dragon is coming around. She's turning those fireworks into rose petals. Beautiful. It's gorgeous. Dragons. So your karma gets cleaned up, right? So that sort of thing happens, and now you have to decide, okay, I'm worthy of closing that chapter and closing that door, of walking into this new room. You know where you've been. You know who you are at that state or who you are at this state. Who are you when you're worthy of more? And how do you need to shift? What core belief systems do you keep? And which ones do you need to look at this point to know exactly what path you're on? What big dreams do you have, right? 2 weeks ago, we talked about being the impossible, having that big vision dream. It all builds on each other, right? I hope that you guys have now seen since October. You could go back and watch every single week since October, and it just keeps building on each other week after week after week. I have given you all the formulas how to do this, okay? Every single one of you has the capacity of being the energetic Olympian I know that you can be, if you have the courage to show up and do it. If you have the courage to look like a crazy person, if you have the courage to look like an arrogant asshole, if you have the courage to look like a soft, sweet, innocent lamb, right? For some of us, that's the harder part, right? Showing up as the baddest bitch in the room might actually not be very difficult for you, but showing off as soft and authentic and vulnerable and sharing one of your deep, dark secrets, not one of the like PC acceptable secrets that you've decided, like curated, oh, these are my vulnerable stories or I'll share, but the ones that are deep down here in the in the trapdoor, in the closet of skeletons, as I say. What of those are you willing to take out and let the whole world see? That takes courage. Because who you are when you have a trapdoor filled with secrets you would never let anyone know or you could die because of it, and who you are once you open that door and you let all of those secrets out, are two different people. One act, two different people. Do you have the courage to be? I remember being in Sedona with Dylan over the 11/11, and I told him I was super scared. We were in the middle of plant ceremony, and I was like, if you let her out, she can't go back in the cage. And he said, what do you say? I was like, what do you mean? I said, the goddess, the dragon, the like me. If you let me out of my cage, you can't put me back in again. And once you let me out, I'm going to change this whole planet. I will burn it down and build it again. Okay, so yes, we were in the middle of plant ceremony. Whatever. Take it or leave it. But that's how big and powerful you are. And that's how scared you are because you can see it. You know it within your heart. I can change the whole planet. If you help me do this, like you are going to, like, you're now binding yourself to me in a way, like, we're going to go burn to the stake together again because we've done that in plenty of lifetimes. Right? We're so scared of how big we can be. We're so scared of how beautiful we are, how brilliant, how wonderful, fabulous, talented, creative, gorgeous, intelligent, wise beyond our years because we are immortals. We've done this so many times. We didn't incarnate at the end of the age of Pisces for no reason. It was specific, it was planned, we chose it. So coming back, how do you love yourself? You take authority for even that. I take authority and responsibility for the fact that I chose to incarnate at the beginning of the age of Aquarius. That I chose to incarnate as a superconscious leader who was absolutely going to shake the world to its very core. The core of the planet. You want to know why the Schumann resonance is going off? Is because as each of us is pulling in and creating our own light frequency, I'm literally getting emotional right now. As each of us is pulling in our own new highest frequency, we're shifting the vibration on the planet. And as we get more rooted and we realize that we are here as world changers, we are then able to send more of those downloads and get them out of our own physical body, but root them down into Gaia so she can do her part in the ascension, which is shifting her whole being and all of the beings that inhabit her into a higher plane of dimension, which is what happened with Karnak, which is the planet that circles Sirius B. You know of them as the Syrian Star Nation, but they actually inhabit a planet called Karnak. It's where Green Tara is originally from. Green Tara is one of my overlighting mentors. I channel her all the time. Yeah, Mary Magdalene, Green Tara, Isis, Hathor, Kuan Yin, White Buffalo Woman, Mother Mary. We all hang out. The dragons. Joan of Arc. You are a lighthouse. You are a conduit of energy. You are a fractal of the divine manifested fully in form here to create an entirely new way of being for the entire human race. That's who you are. I know that's who you are is because that's who I am. And the only reason why you would be watching this is because you needed a reminder and a reflection right now of what that looks like. As your energy shifts within you and you then shift the planet, of course, the Schumann resonance is going to change as well. But take the authority of that, claim that. That's you. You're shifting the planet. You are the shift. You are the wave. You are the vibration. So love on that. Stop being so obsessed with all the parts about you that you want to change because those parts of who you are still make you who you are. And if you weren't who you were, then we wouldn't have you here as a member of the army. Don't you see? You can't change any of that. Just take responsibility for it. Love on it. Doesn't matter what you did. You could have killed a little kid in a hit and run. And it still was for a reason. And that little kid still chose that too, right? When your core belief systems are that strong in your ability of knowing that everyone is here making a choice, there was a karmic reason for that. Maybe that kid had murdered you in a past life. We get so stuck in our stories that we're not willing to have the courage to shift and to change. And that's what we need more than anything. We need more people that have the courage to know their system, their belief system so strongly that they do look like radicals, radical troublemakers. That's what superconscious leaders are. It's just we're radically changing the world for the betterment of all beings, not just for ourselves. Because we know that actually by looking in on ourselves and having these core belief systems, everything we do is for the betterment of humanity. Other people might not see that. Other people might think that we're being totally selfish, irresponsible, blah, 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 all the things. But we're so aligned. We have unified our will to the divine will, to the will of the divine, and knowing that there's a plan for us, that everything that happens in our life we know is happening for a reason, and that we know that we are so in love with the planet that we would do whatever it takes, no matter what, to see the golden age of miracles truly be birthed. I don't call myself the dragon doula for nothing. Birth is messy. Coming into knowing yourself as dragon, as God, as great juju, as the great I am, as the word is messy because there's a lot of layers to shed. There's a lot of them. And that's okay. That's what we're here for. That's the game. It's all a game. Okay. I love you all. Thank you so much for joining me today. Any questions, comments, or concerns? I'm going to check Instagram. Hello. Okay. Bespoke Dragon Invocations. There are still a couple left for There's only a couple left, so make sure you message me. Those are the customized sessions where you get an hour and a half with me. We do a deep dive, a dragon oracle reading. We call in dragons to help really get you set on your path for your highest timeline and highest potential, really get you that extra push that you need, clean up any of the old wounds, heal any of the old scars, activate within you your own crystalline DNA to know your divine mission. And we have this amazing session together. You have a little pre-session survey beforehand that gives you a good snapshot of where you're at. We have our session together. You and I are in contact for the next few weeks, and then Dylan goes and turns a recording. I go and record for you a dragon light language meditation that you will then receive and listen to it every day for 2 weeks. And in that, again, we're all about vibration, frequency shifting, right? So this track is coded to allow you to frequency shift within every fiber of your being into that dragon, to know what that feels like in a body feel, so that as you're going out, again, if someone calls you an arrogant asshole, you could be like, well, that's interesting that you say that, but I'm in the resonance and the high body feel of like really just jamming out to my own higher self talking to me. So that's an interesting reflection, right? You no longer get triggered or any of that. So, and then afterwards, you have a post-session survey and a follow-up with me. It's a beautiful, beautiful offering. I love giving them because of the intricacies, though. I only offer 10 every quarter, and there's only a couple left. So make sure that you message me if that's something you're interested in. And I'll see you all next week with Dylan. We're going to be talking about what the fuck is a twin flame and do I really want one? Okay. I love you.